So you may be wondering, who the hell is Baxter? Who is this Herbert West-looking fish twink on my screen? I didn't even see him in Hazbin Hotel. And at first, I didn't either. But several wiki quests later, and trust me, I've seen him now. I wanted to compile everything we know about Baxter and other characters that show up in Hazbin Hotel-related media, whether that be cameos in Season 1 and the pilot, or in other animatics and animations. Now, this video might be completely outlandish, and these characters might not even have any importance to the final show, but I'm keeping my hopes up regardless, goddammit, because I love this anglerfish specifically with my whole being, and every other character that hasn't gotten any dialogue yet. Everyone covered in this video has stolen my heart, and I can't wait to see them, if they're used at all. So, Baxter, my favorite. Who is he? Well, from what we know now, he's a character that's existed ever since the beginning of development, alongside Angel, Husk, Alistair, Vaggie, Mimsy, Niffty, and another character that hasn't shown up yet in the final show, Crimony. First video that comes to mind was this voice headcanons video from about 8 years ago. Husk was planned to sound like Rick from Rick and Morty. It was an era. But regardless, Baxter was frequently paired alongside the rest of the cast, likening him to a future, potentially primary character. Crimony and Baxter were always paired alongside the rest of the people staying at the hotel, whether they were residents or employees. Crimony was pictured in the pilot when Alistair makes his first appearance when Charlie is on the news, but what people might not know is Baxter was also featured in the pilot, right here at the beginning. In this part of Chasing Rainbows, his silhouette makes a brief appearance alongside Angel Dust, Mimsy, Niffty, Cherry, Sir Pentious, and this guy that Cherry is associated with. Though their relationship is unclear, and it's also unclear if this guy has lore relevance, but who cares? He shows up in the Addict music video in the pilot, so that's all that matters. Baxter has always been the neurotic, antisocial mad scientist type, though he looked a lot more human in the past. Also, very similar to Alistair, but that's not really saying much given how many men in this show have triangular-ass torsos. Eventually, he was redesigned for the pilot, although this design wasn't really used as a core part of it. He was now a lot shorter, shown to be the second shortest character in the cast, the shortest being Niffty. They also leaned fully into his anglerfish features, giving him fins and a lure. After they redesigned him, he was also released as an enamel pin, making him the first character to have official merchandise before his actual debut. It was confirmed he died by drowning in the 1910s. It was said in a livestream that Vivzy originally planned for him to die in the Titanic sinking, but she wasn't sure how much she wanted to tie real-life events into the Hazbin universe. Or at least canon characters' deaths, because the stock market crash of 1929 happened in universe, that's for sure.
Why, I haven't been that entertained since the stock market crash of 1929!
When asked if Baxter has a lab in the hotel, Vivzy states that he didn't have one at the time of the pilot, but he might in the future, saying he would probably make sure that happened. Whether it's a hotel room he converts into a lab, which is my personal prediction, or if it's an extra addition to the hotel overall, we don't know for sure. Baxter shows up in 2 cameos twice so far in Season 1. Once in Episode 2, Radio Killed the Video Star, in Episode 8, The Show Must Go On. Baxter doesn't have any confirmed relationship dynamics with the rest of the main cast just yet, probably because he's described as antisocial and an all-around mess. However, one character that does have a planned relationship dynamic is Crimony. Crimony, alongside most Hazbin Hotel characters, was originally made for Vivzy's project Zoophobia before getting repurposed into Hazbin. Originally, she was a lot more detailed and cluttered with her design. However, she was eventually redesigned for the pilot, much like Baxter was, because hell, this would have been a nightmare for a studio to animate. She was redesigned to be a lot more punkish in nature, with red, white, and black throughout her design. But this time, Crimony was actually shown in the pilot, even if it was just for a brief second. 2 whole drawings, guys, a new record. She also had a non-speaking role in an animation test alongside Villa, a character we'll go over briefly later, to the song Popular from the Wicked soundtrack. Villa is described as a secondary character in that animation's description, while Crimony is mostly there just as a placeholder, though she is shown to be pretty displeased and angsty throughout the few frames we get of her. Crimony doesn't have any cameos in Season 1, and only time will tell if she'll exist in the final series. Vivzy stated that, at least when working on the pilot mid-2017, Crimony was planned to have a sort of father-daughter relationship with Husk, implying that Husk will eventually take responsibility over her, seeing how young she is compared to everyone else. She's biologically 19, as opposed to these stupid idiots going through their midlife crises for all eternity. She hasn't a listed cause of death, but a lot of people have speculated it was either a motorbike accident or a riot, considering she was a punk in the 1990s. And although she doesn't have a solid personality just yet, she was described to be a delinquent punk teen. Personally, I don't think Husk is ready to be a dad, but I digress. Also, one more thing. Vivzie also said in a live stream that she considered giving Crimony a boyfriend who resembles an anthropomorphic plush toy. Although this is unconfirmed to have been carried over to the final show, there is a background character seen multiple times in Season 1 that resembles the small plush toy description that Vivzie gave. Next, I would like to talk about some other characters that exist that are very important to the overall story, Angel Dust's siblings, of which being Molly and Arachnus, who both have cameos. Yay! Arachnus, alongside Angel, was originally conceptualized as a part of an animation thesis, starring in a short gangster noir entitled The Spider Brothers back in 2013. However, this thesis was soon abandoned, and they were used in Hazbin Hotel instead. Arachnus is Angel Dust's older brother, and his design was never altered too much. He's always been a hunched-over little shit, being described as a little taller than Niffty? Much like Baxter, actually. What is it with the show and dramatically tall and short men? Anyways, not much is known about his personality, apart from the fact that he's hard on his siblings, Molly and Angel respectively. His design goes more into the mob theming, much like Angel Dust's early designs with the fedora and everything. Angel and Arachnus were implied to have a strained relationship, meaning the two are probably not in current contact. This is also solidified in older sketches of the two, however, it's unclear if the implications of these drawings are still canon. This is also seen in an older animatic on Vivzie's channel from a whopping 9 years ago. Using audio from The Wedding Singer and the voice of Steve Buscemi of all people, Angel talks on stage about how his father was always comparing him to Arachnus, the both of which were sitting in the audience right in front of him. This can imply that, in at least the crime family sense, Arachnus was the perfect child, while Angel was always unruly, either outrageously outspoken or sleazy. It's currently unknown what relationship Arachnus had with Molly and his mother, however it can be implied that his relationship with Molly was strained as well, seeing how Molly is supposedly in heaven and Arachnus is in hell, implying Molly was somehow good-hearted and virtuous, while he was sinful and most likely had more of a role in the family's web of crime, so to speak. Arachnus did not show up in the pilot, but he has one cameo in episode 8, right alongside Baxter. Hi, Baxter. Molly has been said to have much more of a positive relationship with Angel Dust, although not a lot has been said of it to avoid spoilers. They're fraternal twins, meaning they were born very close together, and that proximity in age might have contributed to their closeness and the positivity of their relationship. There's early Vivzie art showing them positively interacting, although it is with older designs. Molly has always been shown to be very bubbly, bouncy, and positive, which is in contrast to her father's, Arachnus's, and even Angel's occasional angstiness and sleaziness. In a speed drawing of Molly, it's said in the description that her character is very inspired by Meghan Trainor and her retro-sounding bouncy music. Molly has been confirmed to be her real name, which makes sense if this character that bears a striking resemblance to her in Welcome to Heaven is actually her, as angels do seem to possess their human names usually, at least in Adam's case. I'm under the assumption that this is Molly because I think her overall appearance follows the same exact logic that her older design had back in 2015. However, without full proof, it's still technically unconfirmed. Their father is technically unnamed, although Vivzie did once refer to him as Henroin? Henroin. Possibly a nod to heroin, as most characters in this family seem to have drug-related names. However, most of this is very old, nearing a whole decade old now, so a lot of it might be inaccurate. And let's be honest, most of it probably is. Seviathan von Eldritch is Charlie's ex-boyfriend, which came as a surprise to me, mostly because I somehow didn't even notice. Charlie being in a serious relationship was first mentioned on Vivzie's Twitter in 2019, which then gave context to the pictures of Charlie and Seviathan together in the pilot. If we're to assume this prom photo from the pilot is still canon, they dated during their teen years and somewhere along the way broke up and thus broke contact with each other. In Deadbeat Dad, another photo is shown of the Morningstars standing with Seviathan, his sister Helsa, and their parents Bethesda and Frederick. With this in mind, we can assume that the Eldritch family is elite standing, if they have the privilege to be pictured with the royal family with both Lilith and Lucifer present. Seviathan's name is a reference to a Leviathan, which is a creature that takes the form of a sea serpent, thus giving him and his family deep-sea monster-esque qualities. Helsa and Seviathan don't have a strong relationship, but Helsa seems to have an antagonistic relationship with Charlie. She's described as a mean rich girl, matching up with Seviathan's supposed Chad behavior. While Seviathan seems to be mostly ignorant, Helsa seems to be more deliberate with her torment towards others, especially Charlie, with them being described as bitter rivals. In a tweet from 2018, Vivzy states that the song Apex Predator from the Mean Girls Broadway musical works perfectly with Helsa, which is honestly really cool because Erica Henningsen from the original Broadway reporting is now Charlie's voice actor. During Inside of Every Demon is a Rainbow from the pilot, Charlie feels the need to call Helsa a loser, making Helsa angrily reveal her full demon form. Whatever happened between those two, it would be pretty nice to see it either resolved or just see Charlie act all bitter and salty about it in, future seasons. Moving on to characters that barely have anything to analyze, there's Villa. Though Vivzy stated herself that she was planning on making her a secondary character, that was almost a decade ago, so it's unknown if she's even canon anymore. There's no trivia, development information, or even canon relationships listed on her wiki page, making her seem obsolete. However, with that animation exercise in mind, we can at least assume that she had a personality similar to that of Glinda from Wicked. However, that's where the info on her ends. Last but not least, there's Rue, a character revealed in a tweet back in 2019 when Vivzy shared a doodle. From what I can tell, she seemed to be a favorite of Vivzy, as she seemed absolutely thrilled to share her. Her design is imposing, most focus being on her scary-ass eldritch tongue in this one drawing of her. Vivzy's tweet is tagged with #TrashLady, potentially insinuating she lives in a garbage dump or something of the sort, but I have no idea. Whether she's a future antagonist or scrapped forever, will we ever know? Stay tuned for Hazbin Hotel Season 75 coming in 1,000 years. And that's it. If I missed anyone, please let me know. I got a lot of this information off of the fandom wiki, so I'll just be leaving links of my sources down in the description in order. Stay tuned for nothing because I literally have no idea why I made this video, let alone if I'll make another one. This is literally the first video like this I've ever actually completed, so what the hell? Why did it have to be Hazbin Hotel? Why?